Just for gets and shiggles, let's turn on the auto tune and see what it does. All right, there's the thumbnail. So today we're going to be installing a carb cheater on my 1972 C10. Let's go ahead and get the box open and see what's all in here and what comes along with it. I'm not going to pretend like I know what the names of these things are, but it's your main carb cheater box, the brain of everything. Sticker, ooh, stickers. It's a cool little pin they sent with it. It's got a long thing, you'll see it eventually. Wiring harness, bung for the O2 sensor. You can either weld it or clamp it. That's why they give you two different options. Hose. Here's the spacer. Take that out so you can look at it. Gaskets. The inline fuse, filter, O2 sensor, the part that opens and does all the cheating, carburetor studs, and I'm assuming screws to mount this thing. Alright, so that's everything in the box. I guess first things first, we need to take this breather off of here, huh? Get this off here. Okay, so we got the spring off. We're off to a good start. Alright. That one's loose. Alright, the carburetor should just lift off. Carburetor should just lift off here. Nope, there it goes. She's a little stuck. Oh, there it is. You know what? I'm going to take this off, and then I'll just be able to take the whole carburetor off here. I can already tell gas is going to come flying out of it, but maybe if I put my finger over it, I'll be able to stop that. Finger over. Finger's plugging. Let me get this hose on here. There's a carburetor. We'll take this outside. Take it to a gas can and empty it. Definitely not put it on the ground. Right now, according to YouTube, you should shove something down into your intake so no pieces fall in there and ruin your day. I'm gonna take some old rags, job them down in there. This rag might be a little too big. See if I can Hulk Hogan this bitch. Yeah, brother. Well, this hose is crispy. And now see why old boy who invented this thing said to put some wheel bearing grease on your gaskets and it'll keep them from sticking. I figured I'd be good because this gasket's only been on here for a year, but nonetheless, it is sticking. Alright, I think that'll work. Now I gotta go clean the gasket off the bottom of the carburetor. It's gonna be fun. Now we can take these out, put our gaskets in there. This one first. Alright, this has got a T on it, so I'm assuming that means top. But I remember him saying something about holes. T's got to mean top. There's that one. Alright, now we put the carburetor back on it. Alright, now we crawl underneath it and we try to put on our O2 sensor. Wish me luck. Got it up on ramp so my big self can get underneath it. Here we go. Well, I missed with my blanket placement, but hopefully we can make up for it. So there's the one that's currently on it. Alright, new one's in. That wasn't too hard. Luckily, this truck already had it in it, so didn't have to drill nothing. Easy peasy. Now I think I need to start thinking about where I'm going to mount everything. Because I need to know where it's going to be so I can know exactly how much hose and how much wire to run to everything. So I'm thinking this is about the best spot that I can come up with right here. I think that'll be pretty good. I think that'll look decent. It'll be far enough away from the air conditioning lines that it won't sweat on them. Take my handy dandy nib marker that came with it. I'm just going to mark one side, then I can screw it, and then I can straighten it up. Changed my mind, I put it here. They took the time to laser engrave it. You might as well show it off a little bit, you know what I'm saying? These are the screws that they supplied with it. That's it. All right, we're not gonna sit here for 3 hours and go back and forth. That's it right there. try something a little different. How about that? How about that? Hey, look at there. Alright, now we got to figure out where we're going to mount this thing. They said on the video that I watched that the bigger the motor, the closer it needs to be. I mean, it's a 350. I don't know if that counts as a big motor or not, but we'll put it up there. That should be close enough. I mean, I've seen guys with big blocks mount them closer than or further than that, so. Guess we need to put some hoses in here, huh? Where'd my hat go? When did I lose my hat? And where is it? So I need a piece of hose going to the front and a piece of hose going to the back. I think the front goes in line with the sensor. Somewhere right in there. That one goes in line with that. And then the back one in line with the other one. I gotta get back there and pull the cap off the back one and hook this in there. Fair warning, it might get a little grunty. I got it. Minimum amount of grunting. Alright. And that's gonna run there. Alright, somewhere in there. Alright, to catch you up, hopefully you're not using this video as the basis of your install, but you know, if you're just watching somebody else do it, what we've done is put the box in, I mounted whatever the hell you call that thing, and I ran the vacuum hose. This port right here has to be in, the front has to be in line with this port, and then the back goes to this sensor here, and that's it. We should probably put our filter thing on there. Now we gotta do some wiring. Okay, so we made a bit of a mistake. I wish I'd have looked at this before, nailed down where I wanted it, but I was looking at this, it's like, man, that's not even long enough to get over to my thing. They send you these extensions, which I wouldn't have needed if I'd have just mounted it just a little bit closer. That kind of sucks, but that's my fault. It's not any downfall of the thing, it's just me not paying attention. So close. If I'd have just moved it over just a hair, it would have made it. Look at that. Helps you put it in the right way. Alright, now my next concern is that the O2 wire is going to make it over there. This might be a bit of a to-do. I can run it back behind all this, y'all. I'm not going to do that right now because there's something I have to depin in here that I'm not going to use. So they changed the wiring up a little bit, so it was a little bit confusing. I had to look it up, go on the Facebook group. Which, if you didn't know, there's a Facebook group for the people who order this, and they're pretty good about answering any questions you have on there. But just my little bit of research, I was looking at here, if you watch installation video on YouTube, the wiring is not the same as it was in that video. And you're looking at yours and you're like, hell, I don't have, the wires are different. Basically, there was two relay wires that used to be black and something. Now they're orange, black, and orange. So you can unpin those, and there's videos showing you how to unpin them. And then there's this mysterious white wire that I couldn't figure out what it went to. The installation instructions show you that it goes to a two-step. I don't need it. So I'm going to depin that thing too, because I don't need an extra wire just floating around in here. And if you don't know how to depin these things, they have a video on their website, on their YouTube. Shows you how to do it. It's pretty easy. So you can clean. So basically, if you're like me, you don't have a two-step or anything like that, you can get those three wires out of there, clean it up, and you don't have those floating around. So all you need is your red and black, you know, positive, negative, and then the green and yellow go into your distributor. And that should be it, from what I can deduce. So this thing can be plugged in. So I've got everything stripped out of it. Okay, so there's something I haven't really seen explained before. There's a little purple tab on here. I don't know if y'all can see that back in there, but you've probably seen it. Or that needs to be slid out apparently. Then you plug it up. Then slide it back in. I'm assuming. Now that's plugged in. I hadn't seen anybody else say anything about that, so in case you were wondering. Okay, so the yellow and the green go yonder. Alright. Red and the black. They do provide all the connectors that you need for this. There we go. That one's in. That one's in. Now we just got to run those two over to the distributor. Your green wire goes to the tach, and your yellow wire goes to existing vehicle keyed ignition. So this is a little confusion for somebody who don't know really what's going on here. Let's go ahead and do that before we start. Alright, so these two wires need to be run in some sort of fashionable effort over here. The yellow wire needs to be tied into this yellow wire. The green wire goes with the brown. We got a car show tomorrow. We might just take our electrical supplies with us just in case we run into something. We're wired up. We're good to go. You believe it? It only took 8 hours. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to connect. I think it's gonna be this. This was a Bluetooth. Product key. Mine is. I don't know if this matters, but I won't show this part. Okay, it's working. Product keys on the box. I think they said all this you can just leave the way it is. Real time. Well, let's crank it up, see what it do. Know what that was, but it sounded like it had a pretty serious vacuum leak. Now it seems to be doing all right. It's showing that it's running. AFR is 10, which is pretty rich. Just for gits and shiggles, let's turn on the auto tune and see what it does. I don't know what any of this means, but you can definitely hear that the truck is idled up. Okay, so I'm assuming the vacuum noise is actually this valve bleeding off air. So it does work. I'm gonna turn auto tune off so you can actually hear it go. The truck go back down. Oh, this thing is so rich, so rich. All right, well there it is, it works. Now you're probably thinking, that's it? It didn't really do anything. It didn't magically fix your truck. Well, no, it didn't. That's really not what it's for. Now that I have the carb cheater on here, I have all the information I'll ever need in order to get this carburetor where I need it to be. Now I have information I'll be able to data log off of the carb cheater, and I can use it to tune my carburetor and get the truck where it needs to be. I don't know if you were able to see it when I was messing with it, but turning the auto tune on didn't do anything to my AFR. It was still running way rich. I didn't really expect a miracle out of it. I know this truck is so far out of whack. The carb cheater is designed to take the anomalies, as they say, out of the situation, like, you know, changes in weather, changes in elevation, you know, the small adjustments it can do to get you back into the AFR range you need. If your carburetor is as whacked out as this one is, it's not going to do much for you as far as adjustments, but it will tell you the information that you need to know to get it to where it needs to be. And once you get a good baseline and you got it to where it's pretty good running right, then carb cheater can take over and the auto tune can get you running perfectly all the time, no matter the situation. So I don't want it to seem anticlimactic, but it's in, and that's really the first step, the absolute first step, because now there's work to be done on tuning the carburetor to where it needs to be, and now I can use carb cheater and its data log and the information that it gives me to tune the carburetor. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to listen to a carburetor at 55 miles an hour to tell me if it's running rich or what. I mean, I got enough sense to know that this thing smells so rich. You don't have to be a genius to know that. Now I can use carb cheater, get me where I need to be.